I'm no tech genius, but I knew if I wanted my business to crush it, I needed a website now. Thankfully, Bluehost made it easy. I customized, optimized, and monetized everything exactly how I wanted with AI. In minutes, my site was up. I couldn't believe it. The search engine tools even helped me get more site visitors. Whatever your passion project is, you can set it up with Bluehost. With their 30-day money-back guarantee, what have you got to lose? Head to Bluehost.com to start now.
Even experiments that quote unquote fail are worthwhile. If anybody is sitting here thinking like, wow, I really need to come back, you didn't go anywhere. Okay. Your compass is still there. Okay. Leading you to where you need to be.
You're listening to Make Some Noise Podcast, episode number 673 with guest Susan Hyatt. Welcome to Make Some Noise Podcast, your guide for strategies, tools, and insight to empower yourself. I'm your host, Andrea Owen, global speaker, entrepreneur, life coach since 2007, and author of 3 books that have been translated into 18 languages and are available in 22 countries. Each week, I'll bring you a guest or a lesson that will help you maximize unshakable confidence, master resilience, and make some noise in your life. You ready? Let's go. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the podcast. I'm so glad that you're here. Today we have a repeat guest, and people are only repeat guests because they have proven to me that I love their work so much. I value their work so much to have them on more than once. And Susan Hyatt is no exception to that. She was like really one of my first mentors in this industry. So I am excited to have her on, even if she's someone new to you or if she's somebody that you have heard before. So as this episode is airing, we are in the middle of the How to Stop Feeling Like Shit free 5-day challenge. And if you're late to that, you can still sign up. You can still sign up and get the lessons that we've already done in the past few days. Even if it's after that, it will be available for download for free. That's at andreaowen.com/habits. And I also want to briefly tell you about the How to Stop Feeling Like Shit 8-week experience that is coming up. We start May 15th, 2025. And if you loved How to Stop Feeling Like Shit, my best-selling book that's been translated into 20 languages, available in 23 countries at this point. I know the intro is a little old and it says something else, but this book continues to be published all around the world. And I have yet, this is the first time I have facilitated and offered a group coaching program around the habits of this book. If you don't have the book, that's okay. You don't actually have to have it because I'm going in depth on some of the most popular chapters. So that book is 14 habits that I saw over and over again, patterns I saw in my clients, in my podcast listeners, in my community. So that program, the 8-week program, we're kicking it off with values because even though it's the last chapter of the book in How to Stop Feeling Like Shit, it's going to be the very first module. I want you to have a foundation over the next 8 weeks that we're together. We are doing a week on people pleasing and boundaries, strategies, how to set boundaries, how to stop saying yes when you really want to say no. We're going to have a week on perfectionism, a week on numbing out, a week on control, which is also codependence. Just saying. A week on self-sabotage. If you're someone who's like black or white thinker, chronic procrastinator, always finding yourself stopping and starting, can't understand how to get unstuck, that week's going to be for you. We're also going to have a week on resistance, rewriting old stories about your limited beliefs. And then the last week is on integration and a plan forward. I cannot wait to facilitate this group. I have not been this excited for a group since 2019. And maybe that's because I haven't taught a group since 2019. I genuinely haven't, besides Write Your Way Through It, which was different because that's a journaling program. This is curriculum based. And we are having 2 calls a week. One of them is an accountability call, and those are optional. But anyway, you can read more about it and join us at the early bird price with bonuses over at andreaowen.com/habits-course. course, habits-course. And that link, of course, will be in the show notes. And I hope to see you there. All right, my loves, let's get into it. Let me tell you a little bit about Susan for those of you that don't know who she is. Susan Hyatt is a master certified life coach, best-selling author, and TEDx speaker. She's on a mission to ignite big yes energy in women everywhere. From boosting your bank account to supercharging your self-confidence, from elevating your energy levels to amplifying your joy, Susan is the go-to expert for women who want more. With 17 years of coaching experience under her belt, Susan has guided thousands of women through their personal revolutions. She's a crusader against diet culture and a vocal advocate for closing gaps in wages, confidence, and yes, even orgasms. Susan's impactful work has graced national TV, leading podcasts, and top magazines, including the Oprah magazine, Cosmopolitan, 17, Women's World, and Call Her Daddy. Her dedication to women's empowerment and entrepreneurship has also earned her a spot as a finalist for the prestigious Athena Award. So without further ado, here is Susan. Susan Hyatt, back on the show.
I'm so delighted to be here. Thanks for having me, Andrea.
Yeah, this is at least your third, probably fourth or fifth at this point, official friend of the podcast, as I like to say. I want to talk to you about, and I know that you have, I think, since changed the name of your podcast, but when I was on, I think it was the last episode, you had a podcast called You've Got Nerve. That emphasized, emphasizing conquering fears, upgrading your mindset. Let's start with that one because I think it's a common theme. So what common fears do you observe among your clients and the women and in your community, and how do you coach them to overcome these? I know this is this could be like a 90-minute answer in and of itself, but like what's common and where do you usually start?
Sure. I mean, the most common limiting beliefs that I hear that people just terrorize themselves with at our age is it's too late. Why bother? Who do I think I am? It's never going to work out for me. Other people were just born with this common belief that other people who've quote unquote made it, like whatever goal it is that you want, they're different somehow. They were born with some special thing that I just don't have. Those are some of the common ones.
And so I hear that a lot too. And I wonder if how much of it do you think is because I also think there's something to be said about when you get to a certain age and these beliefs are embedded. We've been in a committed relationship. It's been the longest relationship of our life.
Right. We got craters in our brain where has taken up residency. Yes.
Do you, because, and I know from doing this work, both personally and professionally, that it takes a commitment to working on your thoughts, to noticing them first and then working on the thoughts and to changing them eventually. And that changes your beliefs. But is there anything else that you assign, for lack of a better word, to accompany that type of work that's common?
Yeah, I mean, definitely the thing that no one wants to do is the thing you just said, which is consistently talk back to voices. I follow that up with a lot of action-oriented homework because we can stay in our heads and fight with ourselves 24/7. Like, Andrea said, too bad, not for you, right? And so I like to get people to start collecting evidence of the opposite. So it could be if you are interested in lifting heavy weights, but I'm clumsy and I've never stuck with anything and I'm going to hurt myself and people our age shouldn't do it. Like, let's go find other people who are doing it and let's just observe what they're up to, right? So evidence in the world that exists that combats this shitty thought that you believe so wholeheartedly, number one. I mentioned lifting weights because I do think some form of movement can help all the emotion that's stuck get out, which makes thought work so much easier. Like if you are doing yoga or walking or dancing or, lifting weights or Pilates, I don't care, canoeing. Whatever, if you're moving that body, it just makes it so much easier to access different parts of your brain than just staying stuck and having all of that yucky emotion just stuck in there.
That is a huge one in terms of movement for your own personal growth, which is funny. When I was first a life coach, when I was a baby life coach a million years ago. So my background is in fitness. It's what I went to college for. I was a certified personal trainer for years. And when I was new to coaching, I wanted to marry those two and be like a fitness person, personal trainer-ish, but also a life coach. And I found it really hard to market both together. People really wanted to just lose weight. That's what it was. So I ended up walking away from that. I do think it's now that people know what coaching is, it might be a little bit easier. But I say all that because I personally have come full circle in knowing like how important movement is to my own. Like I don't even consider it a hobby or, just it is like hygiene. It is like brushing my teeth.
I think once you get like part of my work with Bear is breaking that transactional relationship between movement and weight loss, which correct. People will even hire me, the author of Bear, with this secret mission of like, yeah, but I really just want to lose weight. And I know that because that's how we're programmed as girls and women.
As women. Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you can't keep it from me. I know that's what you're up to. And I'm also going to change your mind, right? So breaking, like there's so much goodness in movement that has absolutely nothing to do with shrinking your size, mental health. I mean, my God. And so, right, when you get to be our age, you start to see like, whoa, my day is different when I start with some movement. And guess what? I'm ragey because of my hormones. And if I don't do this, people might die.
Okay? Right. They might lose their life. I don't want that for them.
I don't want that for them. And I really am not built for prison. So
I am not. I don't want to go to jail. Okay. Well, speaking of midlife, I am wondering about what you think about this. And you and I have never talked about this before. So as we're recording this, I'm 49. I'm staring down the barrel of 50. I'm actually looking forward.
Just a minute staring down the barrel. This is a giant opportunity. Your life is about to get so much better, but continue.
I love it. Well, and I don't mean that negatively. I see how that expression could be seen negatively. I mean, it's coming. And I was just about to say, like, I am looking forward to this particular milestone birthday more than any of them, even like more than turning 21. And I had a hard time with 30. I had a hard time with 40, but now that I'm approaching 50 and I'm like, oh, bring it. Yeah. Partly because I have always heard the term coming home to yourself. And I thought it sounded like a nice sentiment. And I didn't totally know what that meant, but I hoped that I would find it sometime. Because we hear those types of expressions a lot in personal growth and the spiritual world and the wellness world. And so now, honestly, it took me leaving my marriage 2 years ago to start to walk through that fire to realize what that means for me. So in terms of middle age, what does coming home to yourself mean to you? If you had to describe it to someone who was like 30.
I would say feeling safe and settled in your own body and confident in your own opinion and mind. So when I was younger, I would survey the world. I remember you brought up 30. I was about 30 when we bought this house. And I was deciding between this house, which is in town, and a house like out in the country with a lot of acreage. And I was going around saying, do you think I'm a city mouse or a country mouse? Like there was a book, like a childhood book, City Mouse or Country Mouse. And I'm asking everyone what they thought instead of knowing, right, what I knew about myself, which was, thank God I picked this house, right?
I was going to say, yeah.
I mean, like I had these like romantic visions of like a tractor.
Too many Hallmark Christmas movies.
Right. But I think it's like being like really solid in understanding who you are and loving who you are and not feeling the need to change for anyone other than yourself. And just being like at home with who you are without explanation or apology.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. Similar. I think I just explain it differently in that I love that the expression is, to me, it refers to coming home to yourself means like that you've already been there before when sometime in your life. And I feel like we're there as little girls,
Yes.
little girls.
Yes.
And eventually, like probably around puberty, maybe even before that, like preteen is when it starts to get socialized out of us. And what I mean by that is, by it, I mean the inner knowing, the understanding and radical acceptance that you have all the answers you need inside of you, and to trust yourself implicitly. And that's the part I think that gets kind of taught out of us. That's the part where I feel like, oh, I know this place. Like I know this place. I'm like, I'm back.
Yeah, I remember I just made a note for myself to write about this because you just brought something up. I was thinking about this the other day. I remember being about 4 or 5 years old, and I was the youngest. My whole family lived on the same city block, and I was the youngest. And I was a girl, and I had boy cousins and a brother and an older sister, and I would love to play soccer with everyone. And I remember my boy cousins, because we lived in Savannah, Georgia, it was hot. They pulled their t-shirts off, and so did I. And I remember just running shirtless, playing soccer until an adult came out and was like, you can't do that. Like being shamed, like you can't run around shirtless. You're a girl.
Yeah.
And it's like that kind of stuff where it's just like, like we're constantly put in a different place than what nature intends for us. And it's sort of like, isn't that just terrible that we as young girls, young women are conditioned to go against our inner knowing and pleasure?
Our inner humanity. Yeah, pleasure is what that is. Yes. Okay, we need to take a quick break. When we get back, I want to talk to you about the current times that we're in. So hold on, everybody. We'll be right back. If you're a woman over 40 dealing with perimenopause, you don't have to accept it as just another part of aging. Did you know there are so many perimenopause symptoms? Hot flashes and night sweats, trouble sleeping, painful sex, vaginal dryness and libido change, weight and body changes, brain fog and memory lapses, moodiness, anxiety and depression, period problems, hair and skin changes, joint pain, bone loss, and fracture risk. The experts at MIDI Health understand what you're experiencing and know how to help. MIDI clinicians are menopause experts dedicated to providing safe, effective, FDA-approved solutions. Visits and prescriptions are covered by major insurance providers, no membership fees or hidden costs. If you're uninsured or Medicare is out of network under your plan, they also offer affordable cash payment for services. I know for me, as I'm about to turn 50 in 2025, finding a doctor that specializes in perimenopause and menopause is incredibly important. You deserve to feel great. Book your virtual visit today at joinmidi.com. That's joinmidi.com.
Carla only.
When you think of mom, what characteristics come to mind? Is it comfort, patience, or love? Maybe it's resilience, consistency, or simply showing up in big ways and small. Motherhood looks different to everyone and shows up in many forms. Some of us were shaped by the mothers who raised us. Some are mothers themselves, and others carry the spirit of motherhood in their hearts in unique and beautiful ways. Whether you're celebrating a mom, remembering one, longing to be one, or navigating motherhood in an unexpected way, moms deserve the best. That's why I turn to Cozy Earth. From their temperature-regulating bedding to their ultra-soft pajamas, Cozy Earth creates comfort that feels like home because home feels like mom. I have a pair of Cozy Earth's bamboo pajamas, and when I tell you they are the perfect way to wrap yourself or that special someone in your life in comfort and luxury, I mean it. From the first moment I pulled them out of the package, I knew these were different. The fabric is like butter, and they are my absolute favorite pajamas. Get 40% off with my code NOISE and special offer to celebrate moms everywhere this weekend only, May 2nd through the 4th. Cozy Earth is giving my listeners a special promo. Buy one, get one free bamboo pajamas. Use code NOISEBOGO, NOISEBOGO, to take advantage of this. She deserves the best. Y'all know I'm all about doing what you can to take care of your mental health, and Headspace is one of my favorite go-to tools. It's this super easy to use app that's helped over 100 million people, myself included, manage stress, sleep better, boost their mood, and just feel more grounded overall. Whether you're brand new to meditation or you've been doing it for years, Headspace has something for every season of life. Quick breath work for when you're on the go, full-on guided meditations, and even sleep support. It's all science-backed, taught by real teachers, and the content always feels like it was made just for me. Seriously, when I only have 5 minutes, I still get what I need. And with over 1,000 hours of mindfulness tools, I never run out of options. Lately, I've been loving their breathwork meditations. They're such a great intro to breathwork in general and a simple way to reset, especially at the end of the day. Feel good and mean it when you say it. For a limited time, get Headspace free for 60 days. Go to headspace.com/makesomenoise. That's HEADSPACE.com/makesomenoise to unlock all of Headspace free for 60 days. One more time, headspace.com/makesomenoise. Okay, so you and I are recording this in the first week of February 2025. This episode will probably come out a couple months from now, and Lord knows what's going to be happening then. I hate to even think of it. But you are very politically conscious and vocal about such things. And what is your advice for people listening who are feeling overwhelmed, scared, anxious? How do we keep putting one foot in front of the other in terms of going after what we want when it feels like we should be like battening down the hatches?
Yeah. Wow. I'll be curious to see where we are as well when this episode is released. But I think this advice can hold true anytime you feel like things are overwhelming and out of control in the world. For me personally, and what I'm talking with my groups about is to have, everyone has a different tolerance level for news media, social media, things coming at them.
Yeah, that type of chaos is what it is. Yeah.
It is chaos, right? And so understanding your energy preferences and understanding, right? Some of us are more sensitive than others. And some of us advocate in different ways, right? Some people want to advocate for what's right and what's happening in the world by marching in the streets. And some of us want to write checks. And some of us want to pack lunches for the people who are marching in the streets, and just coach people who are making strategy change, right? So it's like understanding your energy level, understanding how you want to advocate, and then having boundaries around your time. So I understand about myself that if I start my day consuming the news and notifications on social media, my day is going to look really differently than if I start my day with movement and meditation. I'm just better able to digest whatever the fresh hell might be in the US political scene that day, right? So, and I also encourage people, because these apps are designed to suck you in and make you addicted, you want to be conscious of that and have time limits for yourself. So I've set settings on my phone so that it like notifies me, hey, your time's up.
Yeah. You've been on this app for 30 minutes or whatever.
Right. Like you need to go do something else. I also like to say or encourage people, myself included. I said this to myself this morning, create before you consume. So like, hey, you really don't have any business watching all of these reels and freaking yourself out because you haven't created anything for your business today. So guess what? You don't get to do that. So, I mean, I think it's like understanding who you are, understanding what you want your role to be, having boundaries based on those things, and spending the majority of your time on your life and business. And if you say like, okay, I'm going to take 30 minutes and use this 5 calls app to make a couple calls, I've done my part today, right? The world is not going to be a better place if I get sucked under and can't get out of bed.
Yeah, that's true. Especially for not even just like our own being there for our own children, our partners, our friends, our colleagues. Like, if a lot of people listening are in leadership positions. Like, I know for me, like I cannot show up and be a good leader if I cannot even lead myself. So that has to be a priority.
Perfectly said. I mean,
Yeah.
and I just think there is no moral superiority to spending your day fighting on social media. There are people who are on the same side fighting about who's doing more and who's doing what. And it's like, yeah, we all have to stop that shit, right?
Yeah.
And do what we can do and take care of ourselves and our families.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw that really go awry in 2020. People arguing online, the jockeying for like who has it worse, who's doing more, who's morally superior in that regard. And then it was ugly. It was ugly. I hope we don't get there this time. Well, I know that, I mean, slight shift of gears, but I love that you have like so many cute names for things. And one of the things is the comeback compass for navigating setbacks and building resilience. I talk about resilience a lot here. So can you share, even if it's like a personal experience where you've applied this framework? It's a framework, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think that might be helpful for people right now.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's really the concept of like any setback is a setup, right?
Okay.
So if you find yourself down and out, if you find yourself where you're thinking, wow, I'm not where I really want to be, whether it's with my relationships or financially or with my business or even your personal relationship with yourself, you can take stock of what's happening and set goals for your comeback. I mean, me personally, it's interesting because I find that I try a lot of different things and I try a lot of experiments. And the podcast that you were on, You've Got Nerve, is a good example of that.
Mm-hmm.
I tried, I had a very popular podcast called Rich Coach Club.
Mm-hmm.
And it was specifically around how to make money as a life coach. And I wanted to shift gears and talk more broadly about getting up the nerve to do whatever. It could be anything.
Yeah.
And it was an experiment. And even experiments that quote unquote fail are worthwhile, right?
Yes.
So You've Got Nerve. Let me tell you something. You've Got Nerve's listenership was 25% of the listenership of my previous podcasts. And there are a lot of reasons for that. One is like it wasn't super specific. It didn't have the same like pep talk energy to it, which I'm kind of for, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I still valued the 2 years and 169 episodes that I did, right? It was still worthwhile. And also time for a comeback.
Mm-hmm.
Love a comeback. I'm redesigning things based on the information I gleaned from that.
Yeah.
So I think if anybody is sitting here thinking like, wow, I really need to come back. You didn't go anywhere. Okay. Your compass is still there. Okay. Leading you to where you need to be.
To quote LL Cool J, don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years.
That's right. Suckers.
That's a great song. Mama's gonna knock you out. Okay. I'm going to play that song after we're done here, just because I love a good comeback. And that's what I have been sort of naming this phase of my life, because I got a belief in my head of like, oh shit, now I've left a dual income household, which, let's be honest, it's easier to split bills and things like that. And, single mom in it over here. And can I make it? I've never run this business as a single person before. I've always run it at least in a marriage. And so it helped me even just to call this phase of my life a comeback. So especially just the last few years, pandemic, getting sick, blah, 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 all of that stuff. And so I also think like, name it whatever. I love a good theme. I love a good theme party.
I love a good theme. That's right. Whatever makes you feel empowered, right?
And excited.
Oh yeah, this is a comeback. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you, I'm listening to you and like, I understand where that fear comes from.
Mm-hmm.
And also there's so much evidence in your history that I personally have witnessed that like, excuse me,
Yeah.
if Andrea Owen can't do this, nobody can.
Yes. Don't call it a comeback. Been here for years.
Been here for years.
Okay.
Been here for years.
Been here for many years. Okay. Speaking of cool sayings that Susan Hyatt has, you also coined the phrase, the big yes energy, and that's central to your coaching. So especially right now, like how can individuals cultivate this energy? You talked about, setting boundaries, making, what is your tolerance level, things like that. But what about like, let's take it one step further into big yes energy.
Yeah. So I have a community called Big Yes Energy, and Big Yes Energy is what you're saying yes to. So of course, there's going to be a lot of saying no when you're saying yes to what your priorities are, where you feel the most energy, where you feel the most drawn. And so when people are setting boundaries around things that are what I would consider energy leaks, like social media and news and all those things, okay, great. Let's talk about where are the energy surges, paying attention to where you light up and not judge whatever it is. Right now, I can't stop talking about weightlifting. It's hilarious to me. It is hilarious to me that this is my latest obsession. And also, I'm not going to judge it because guess what? That's where I need to direct my energy. I'm saying yes to that. I'm saying yes to writing my next book. I'm saying yes to travel. I'm saying yes to things that light me up, which requires me to say no to the bullshit, right? If I'm going to have room for all that, I've got to be saying no to things too. So, I just think everybody listening, as dire as things in the world might be, the way that joy works is that it's there for you to plug into. Not everything is in the toilet. Okay. There's plenty to celebrate and be joyful about.
Yeah. I just want to say amen. Yes. Yes. Big yes energy. And it's true that whenever you are saying, I think if it might be helpful for people to look at this from the opposite direction too, because I think that many times for women, they've said yes to everyone besides themselves.
Right.
So when they're looking at big, saying yes to things for themselves, it can be scary. But also, I would challenge them to look at it as practicing saying no, because like you said, when you're saying yes to things, you are saying no to other things, and write it out in list formation. And even I would put like on a scale of 1 to 10, how much joy are each of these things, the list of things that you're saying no to, how much joy is that really bringing to your life? And then the list of things you're saying yes to, how much joy is that bringing to your life? You might see a big difference.
Listen, you've inspired me. I'm going to do like a free hot seat coaching call where I'm like, bring your list.
Yes.
Bring your obligation list and we're going to go through it and we're going to see what's a yes and a no. And I guarantee you're going to leave that call with 80% of that shit canceled. Okay.
Yes. And especially the people who are pushing back and saying, I can't say no to any of these things.
Oh my God. That is my feet are literally sweating. That is the stuff.
It's a wet dream for you.
And I know, like, I'm just like, oh, really? Oh, really? You're the only one that can make the little peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Give me a hold of that list.
Yeah, let me tell you.
Okay.
What you're not doing.
We need to take one more break. When we get back, I want to ask you a little bit more about the future. We'll be right back.
Sergeant and Mr. Smith, you're going to love this house.
Bunk beds in a closet?
There's no field manual for finding the right home. But when you do, USAA Homeowners Insurance can help protect it the right way. Restrictions apply.
Hilton brings you new ways to stay, with experiences that let you capture the glory days. Introducing the Graduate Hotels. Each inspired by local college towns, these stays are always original and never boring. Get in touch with traditions all across the country and enjoy a stay that's a class above the rest. Book at Graduate Hotels with Hilton Honors Points at Hilton.com. It's a win-win. Hilton, for the stay.
Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just speaking into the void? Well, with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills. Wait, did I say job title yet? Get started today and see how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. We'll even give you a $100 credit on your next campaign. Get started at linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply.
Okay, so looking ahead, we have to. What emerging topics, maybe even just for 2025, what emerging topics or challenges do you anticipate we're going to be addressing in terms of women's empowerment, self-help in general? What are those topics that you think that we're going to be feeling the need to teach and talk about more often this year?
The orgasm gap.
Okay.
Exists. Menopause. Yes.
Yeah.
More talk about perimenopause and menopause and postmenopause health.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to be talking about women's health and abortion rights.
Yeah.
I think we're going to be talking about what it looks like for healthcare to prioritize women's issues.
Yes. I'm turning 50 in 2025. The menopause conversation is something I'm incredibly grateful that it's trending now. Yeah. And I just started seeing a new OBGYN yesterday as you and I are recording this, and she verified for me, and I asked her because now I'm at the point where my period is like, after having a regular period for forever and ever and ever, the cycle started getting shorter together. And then now they're just starting to be like kind of all over the place. And so I asked her and I said, because I've always gotten my blood tests and my estrogen, progesterone, it's all like normal. And she stopped me and she was like, and she explained to me about how it's next to impossible to get a really good, solid, clear read on those particular hormones because they fluctuate so often during the month. She's like, we can kind of get a good snapshot if your periods were regular. Mm-hmm. And she's like, she's like, I'm looking at these numbers, between the days between my periods. She's like, I have no idea when your luteal phase was. Like, we have no idea. So she's like, I treat based on symptoms. And I was like, that is what I'm hoping the conversation will be more in terms of women's healthcare and women being believed for what's going on with them.
Yeah, my God. I can't tell you the stories that I hear and my own personal stories with most OBGYNs can't have the conversation you just had.
Yeah.
They don't know enough. They're not taught enough. They think she needs an antidepressant or she needs birth control pills.
Birth control pill. Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Louise.
Yeah. And that's been decades that they've been feeding us those two. And I'm not to say that they're terrible. They serve their place, but it's not a one size fits all. Anything that you want to either circle back to that we talked about or say something new before we stop in order to feel complete?
I think we covered the gamut, but I just want to encourage anyone listening, that if you're listening to this, there's a reason. And if you take anything away from this conversation, it's that there is joy, there is hope, and we are all co-creators in this. We're not hopeless. And so if you find yourself feeling like nothing is getting better, I want you to continue to listen to Andrea's podcast and continue to bet on yourself, because Andrea is living proof the past couple of years that she's had and the valley that she was in, like what a difference a couple of years can make.
Yes. And I remember like in the darkest, about 18 months ago, I remember laying in bed thinking, I'm going to be telling this story eventually. Every storm runs out of rain. Like I was going through all of the mantras that I say all the time on my podcast, like to myself. And I was telling my friends, like, here's what I need you to tell me. Please remind me that this is temporary, because I get stuck and think it's not. So it's like all of the things that I talk about here on the show, I had to practice. And I cannot tell you how grateful I was. I had that toolbox. Yeah. So thank you for underscoring that.
Yeah. And that, like, look, and you were fucking right.
I know I was right.
Every storm does run out of rain.
It did. Mm-hmm. And this one will too. The storm that we're in will run out of rain.
It absolutely will.
Yeah. Where can everyone go? Like, what is the new podcast now? Where do people find more of you?
So where they can find more out about me, susanhyatt.co. And I have a new podcast called Big Yes Morning. It's your self-love soundtrack.
Love it.
And it's quick, 3 to 5 minute every morning, a 3 to 5 minute pep talk.
I love that.
So it should be available within, by the time this airs, it will be available, and you can listen to me hype you up every morning.
We'll put that in the show notes, and definitely, and your Instagram too. I love following you over there.
At Susan Hyatt on Instagram. You can watch me pretend to be a muscle mommy.
Go off. Well, and I love your rants too.
I have a new rant brewing that I'll probably do today.
Okay, good. I can't wait. Okay. Love you, babe. Thank you so much.
Long time.
And listeners, thank you so much for being here. Your time is so precious, and I'm so grateful that you choose to spend it with me and my guests. And remember, it's our life's journey to make ourselves better humans and our life's responsibility to make the world a better place. Bye for now. Hey everyone, thanks for listening to the episode. I am popping by on the back end for a quick reminder about how to stop feeling like shit 8-week experience. The link is in the show notes, andreaowen.com/habits-course. It is an 8-week program, 9 weeks actually, because we're doing an integration week. And it's all about people pleasing and boundaries, perfectionism, numbing out, control, self-sabotage, fear, strategies to not do those habits so often anymore. These are the real things that keep people stuck. This is from my book, How to Stop Feeling Like Shit. And we start May 15th, and we're also doing an initial week on values. So if you want in, I'm not offering this again this year. So head on over to the link in the show notes, andreaowen.com/habits-course.